Hi there. I wanted to thank everybody for coming to my hip workshop last weekend, and I thought it might be helpful to go through some of the exercises that we did, and then you can do them at home and keep up with your hips. So you could use a couple of props. I used in the workshop a block and a TheraBand. They're pretty easy to get. If you don't have one, you can pick one up. Or you can just do everything without it. You could use a book or anything that's kind of going to elevate your feet. So we started with some spinal mobility. And I had you just going onto your hands and knees, and we were going to round the spine up and then just really release. So you can release the pelvic floor and stretch yourself out and round your spine up. Remember that lumbar flexibility, the movement of the lumbar spine, is really helpful for hip mobility as well. So if you're feeling tight in the lower back, that's going to affect your hips. So just do this a couple times. Really work the tailbone, really work that flexion through the lumbar spine. Your upper back is already pretty curvy, except for mine, and you're going to get that stretch there. Okay, so then we flipped onto your back. So you want to just flip onto your back and lie down. Okay, and just settle in. You could just move your pelvis around a little bit, side to side. Just move it. Don't worry about, technique. So we talked about working from the ground up when you're working on your hips. Looked at the glutes and the side leg muscles and the inside leg muscles. So one of the best, easiest, most accessible exercises is the bridge. So you're going to take a big inhale, and then as you exhale, you're going to drive your feet down into the mat, press your hips up, and just see what happens in your glutes. Do they fire? Do you feel them? Does it feel like you can feel one or the other? Just kind of put your brain in your bum and then lower back down. Now if you do have a block or something, you could also put that in between your legs. That'll just get you a little bit more organized to midline. So I would do that about, I like to do things until they burn. So you can judge how many you want to do, but you definitely want to do like 5 to 10 and then lower back down. You're going to draw your navel to spine or navel to organs. Feel that internal corset working to support you. Go up and then go down. And then go up and then go down. And go up and stay there. You should feel no discomfort in your back. If you did, I would suggest you just come on down and take a rest. So we always want to progress it. The way we progressed that exercise, I asked you to take the block and put it under your foot. So I'm going to go ahead and put that under my right foot. And then I'm going to lift back up again. Now you're really wanting to be conscious of the pelvis. You want to keep the pelvis nice and level. So now I'm just feeling a little bit more work into my hamstrings and my glutes on my right side. And then we're going to lower and lift, lower and lift, lower and lift, lower and lift. And I'm a horrible counter, so switch sides. So I'm not going to switch sides, but you would just do that on the other side. So you would do again about 10 and just make sure that you feel it. If you don't feel it, keep going. Try to keep going until you do feel it. That's really important. So then the easiest thing to do is just flip onto your side and you're all ready for the clam. So this would be a beginner clam exercise. You're going to open your knee and then close. Okay? And open and close. You're not moving your pelvis, you're not moving your rib cage, you're not moving your lower back. You're gently drawn in through the abdominal so that your torso stays really still. And you would do that up and down and up and down. Okay, so again, probably about 10. So from there, I like to keep things pretty simple, and you just stretch out your leg, right? So we need to be able to bring the leg away from the midline and to the midline of the body. So we're gonna flex the foot and lift your leg up like you're scraping your foot against the wall, and then lower your leg down. And lift your leg up and lower your leg down. And lift your leg up and lower down. I would definitely do 10. You want to make sure that your leg isn't kind of trying to sneak forward, right? Because we want to get into the posterior line of your leg. So just make sure it goes back, okay? You don't want to go up too high and then you're just going to collapse in through here. So reach your leg nice and long and go up and down the wall. So 10 times. Then we turned the leg inwardly, so that medial rotation. And you can tap your big toe down and then back up. Tap down and then back up. Tap down and then back up. And again, I would do about 10. Then it should be burning. You should be thinking, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, but I love my hips so much that I'm going to do it anyways. And you're going to go up the wall and down the wall. And you're in external rotation now. You've turned your leg out, and it's not a big motion. There should be no discomfort on your knees, and clearly there should be no discomfort in your hips. Up and down. Okay, so from there, I would just flip over and do the whole thing on my other side, but you know what to do. Flip over and do the whole thing on your other side. The bridging, side leg lift, all of that kind of stuff. So as you get stronger, it's really important to stand up. So another exercise that you could do is just kneeling, okay? So you're gonna sit back and stand, or not stand up, but kneel up and go down and then up. So you're flexing at your hip to go down. You're extending your hip to go up, okay? So again, you could do that as long as your knees aren't bothering you in any way. You could do that about 10 times. You could also just do this exercise. So just press your hip forward and just feel your buttock muscles. That's also going to give you a nice, decent, organized stretch for the front of the hips. So like I said, we don't need to go stretching the hips out like crazy people, right? Just an easy stretch. Functional movement, functional movement in our joints. So then I had you stand up, and that's where it got pretty gritty. So you're going to grab your band and take it around your legs. And you're going to tie it up pretty tight, but not tight enough that you can't move. Like you don't want to be kind of too tight. So you're going to bend your knees. You're going to really stick out your bum. Just stick it out like Kim Kardashian. And you're going to stabilize one leg. So I'm going to stabilize my right leg, and I'm going to keep my tailbone, stick it out, and I'm going to stomp my leg out to the side and bring it back. And stomp my leg out to the side. And I'm going to already feel my glutes. Okay? And out, and in, and out, and in, and out, and in. And dig into your standing heel. So you should start to feel globally your leg, but specifically your glutes with this, okay? So again, I would do 10 or more. I would really just like you to burn out and, you know, be fabulous. So take your other leg up, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, but I probably don't need to do 10. It's like a cooking show, it can just be done. So that's that exercise. Then I had you go up against a wall, right? And turn out. I'm going to turn out my left leg. Okay? Check out my balance. Hips are stable. You can have your hands on a wall or on a box, or if you need it. And you're going to pick up that leg and just press it back. And you can see I'm not moving that much here. And that really targets this area. And go back, and go back, and go back, is gently bent in turnout, and I'm pressing my leg back. Now, if your hand's free, you're working on balance and stability. So if you can't do it hands-free, you should always try to. Or if you have your hands on the wall, just put one finger, or maybe two. Okay? And then if you wanted to really challenge yourself, you do little pulses. Good. So you went from the ground up to standing. It's really important to do this work. It's important to have strong, healthy hips. You never know what's coming around the next bend. So the stronger you are, the better you're going to be able to deal with anything that comes your way. Plus, you'll be happier. Remember? Happy hips, happy life.